All right, on this episode of Bowks Talking Bouts, excited to be talking to an individual set to compete at Unified MMA 46, which transpires on September the 23rd. We've got Alex O'Neill and Jett Grande getting out there and testing skills, and always good getting to have Jett on the show before these fights. How's the day going so far there, man? Getting in some good training today?
Yeah, absolutely. Just focusing on my training, and it's going to be a busy day. I'm just another day on the grind, basically. So, yeah.
And I'm kind of curious, is this one, you were at Arashi-Do for the last camp there and whatnot to a degree, but is this a sole camp at Arashi-Do just because it's more localized to Alberta? What's the training like for this one?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a sole at Arashi-Do, and I occasionally cross-train, but yeah, this is basically solely at Arashi-Do. So it's nice. I can personalize my training a bit more here, versus when I'm at other bigger camps. So everything's geared a little bit towards me, slightly more. And it's been great so far. So I think this is going to be a really good fight, and I'm going to be very well prepared for this fight.
Yeah, and just the rate of activity, I think, would play a part in that, too. I guess I'm curious to get some insights on the mentality with that a little bit, just because your Flogger Series fight was announced, concurrently while this Unified fight was also signed and on the radar. Now that you're kind of out of that and only focusing on the one fight here, was that kind of a strange dynamic, having, two fights on the radar at the same time, two locked in?
Sign it, but I didn't realize that they would be really announced at the same time, so that was kind of a little awkward for me, but it is what it is, now I'm just focusing on one fight at a time, so I was just focusing on Floggers, and then now I'm focusing on this Unified fight against Alex O'Neill, and then, we'll see what happens after this fight, but yeah.
Yeah, for sure, and as much as I am excited to talk about what's next, I feel like I'd be remiss if I didn't get some of the insights from last go-around there, because I was talking about the localized training, in the context of you being in Dubai, getting in that work, and then winning, your first professional title, going over to Pakistan, just the totality of, the last camp and the last fight there, what was that experience like? It seemed like a big career moment.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It was something, just to experience Pakistan and to experience, a different promotion in Pakistan. It was something else. I'm so glad I did that experience and took that opportunity. I couldn't pass on it, and, and the training in Dubai was amazing. I felt like I learned a ton, and it's gonna, that short time in Dubai, or that time in Dubai, will take me, will help me in the long term as a martial artist and as a fighter, with all the techniques and small little details I learned. So, it's been great. And then the fight itself, it was a good fight. I'm just looking to build off that fight. There's definitely things I could have did better in that fight, to be honest with you, but this fight going forward, I'm looking to correct all those mistakes and just looking to show the best Jett Grande that's been in the cage. So that's my goal for this fight.
Yeah, and fighting a guy last time that was undefeated and handing the first L there, and just you're facing an opponent here who also undefeated, similar level of pro experience. So it seems like you're trending in the direction of testing yourself against the kind of quality opposition you would want to see where you're at skill wise.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the guys that want to fight. I want to fight tough, well-rounded guys. That are gonna be, that are gonna test my skills. And bring out the best Jett Grande. So that's kind of the whole point. So yeah, so that's part of my mentality, and wins over these guys is gonna look good on my resume. So
oh yeah, no doubt, man. And I feel like there would probably be a certain degree of familiarity getting to compete under that Unified banner for a few times, this being the fourth go around as a pro under that banner. Is there that kind of compounding comfortability when you come out to each of those subsequent events, or does that not really play into it as much?
No, absolutely. I think it does play. Absolutely. Every time I go in Unified, like I'm just so much familiar with the venue and the whole process. And yeah, I'm very comfortable fighting for Unified right now. So yeah, I really enjoy it, and yeah, I think it does play into my favor a bit. So yeah, I think that's great.
Yeah, a bit shorter trip for Gary Vig than last time out, eh?
Sorry, what did you say? Sorry.
I was just joking. I was saying a bit shorter of a trip for Gary Vig to corner you this time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he shout out to that guy. He just came and quartered my fight. It would have been very tough without him. So I'm glad he came, and he just came literally the day before. Well, the night before I was about to weigh in, he came. He flew down, and then I actually had a couple more pounds to cut, so he helped me with that. And then, after like a 20-hour flight, so like, or 24-hour flight, so like, shout out to him. And then, and then then he took care of me. Then after the fight, we stayed and toured Pakistan for a day, so that was pretty cool. Did some sightseeing. That was really cool. I enjoyed that. Then we actually did a seminar at one of the MMA gyms. Yeah, me and Gary hosted it. That was fun too. CAX Fight, KAK Fight Club. It was pretty fun. And then, and then we just went home, and, he was only, that must have, but, yeah, it was a long journey, but we made it work.
It seems like a good combination of like getting that necessary experience, like fighting overseas and things like that, that'll be part and parcel with the career kind of going forward, but also having that familiar presence in the corner. Seemed like a best of both worlds kind of thing there.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. And, like you said, like it's, like if you want to reach the top as a professional fighter, like you got to be willing to travel and be prepared to travel and fight, because not every fight's going to be in your hometown, so it's good to get that experience too. So.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And yeah, some good experience had all throughout the pro run so far, but just this is an interesting opponent you have coming up in the sense of I did mention he was undefeated and carved his name out largely on the TKO circuit there, but does it kind of make it a little difficult to like game plan to a certain degree for an opponent who, just in the context of he hasn't competed in a few years now, so it could be like a whole new set of skills almost? Like, do you lean into the tape study for this one to a degree? Is it more focusing on your individual refinement and kind of see how the fight expresses itself? Like,
a bit of both for sure, and I do expect him to be improved, and I expect him to be improved and very, maybe even slightly different from his last fights and all that. But, I'm also focusing on myself, At the end of the day, it's, about what I'm trying to do. It's about me. Like, I think that's the most, I have, I'm a very, I'm, like, I can fight around game plans and stuff like that, but, like, I'm a very, at the end of the day, I'm a very imposing fighter. So, like, I'm forward, all this wrestling. Like, my game plans are usually fairly straight over, depending on who I'm fighting. So, straightforward, I mean. I'm just willing to mix everything up, and I'm just going to show all my skills, so that's the game plan. So, yeah.
Yeah, it would seem like a high pace would be a big part of this fight, just because it seems like he's shown a level of, cardio in as far as like being able to get like a few decision victories under his belt there. So I would think obviously the pressure is like a big part of all your fights, but I feel like that'll be especially pronounced in this one here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's shown good, fantastic cardio in all his fights. He's a tall guy too, so and he's very, very great shape. So yeah, it'll be good. It'll be a good test to that too. So.
And I kind of wanted to touch on, because you talked about like when you were over in Pakistan, like you were doing a seminar there. Like, how cool is that? I mean, obviously you teach people who are like younger martial artists, like local to Red Deer, which I imagine is quite fulfilling, but that must be a cool thing to just be like going, abroad and teaching internationally and seeing that kind of thing take place. Like, what was that dynamic like there?
Oh yeah, it was super cool. Pakistan, they got some talent over there for sure. Like you wouldn't, but yeah, they definitely do, and they're working hard. They just sometimes they don't have the resources, but they're working hard and they're building their fighters, their martial artists. Like Pakistan's on the upward. So that was pretty cool to see. And it was just cool experience teaching. Well, I was just helping. Gary was mostly doing the seminar, but it was cool. Just cool to be there and see how they're training and stuff. And but they're pretty. They're up to a good level. They're up to our level, so it's good to see. I think a lot of people would be surprised, but it was just a great experience, man.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear, man. I'm glad you got something out of that there for sure, and it's cool to hear like any kind of growth happening around the globe with mixed martial arts there. I'm kind of wondering as far as like the partisan presence in the crowd though, like it seems like you're very much like a big part of like the community in Red Deer, even beyond like a martial arts kind of context. Like, are you going to be having a lot of Red Deer cheers in the crowd? Are we going to be seeing a lot of like Jett Grande shirts spread throughout River Cree?
Yeah, I'll probably have. I usually have one of the biggest crowds in Unified, so every time I fight. So I expect it's going to be no less for this one. So it'll be great.
Yeah, I'm curious to like the temperament of that kind of stuff though. Are there like certain like friends and family who are like kind of closing my eyes, looking through peaked fingers a little bit, or some people? Or is everyone like gung ho? What's the?
I'm sure there are. Yeah, I'm sure there are some family members that definitely do that, and some friends, all that stuff. But it is what it is. The best thing is they still support me, so that's all that matters.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I feel like your work ethic and everything, and that probably like, subvert some of those feelings though, because like, I mean, the more optimally prepared you are, the less chance you have to get hurt, it would seem like. So I mean, just seeing the work you put into it probably like, tempers the feelings a little bit. They probably realize you're on the right path and everything like that. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree. I think it definitely does help.
Yeah, love to see all that stuff, man. Some great martial arts out in there, and yeah, I gotta be getting out to one of those Unified shows soon. I kind of miss going out to those shows. Maybe I'll stop by Alberta at some point this calendar year. But you've been good with your time, man, and really excited for this card. It seems like Unified keeps putting on more and more stacked events, and cool to see that you're part of it and everything like that. But I do want to be mindful of the rest of your schedule too. So is there anything you might want to add as like a parting thought as we're wrapping up, Jett?
Like you said, this fight card is stacked. I think we got 4 UFC vets on this card or something like that. It's pretty, it's probably the most stacked Unified fight card I think, they've had. So yeah, it's a great event. So, if you're interested in seeing some good local fights, check Unified out. It'll be a great event. And, I just want to say thank you to all my sponsors for supporting me. Thank you to my coaches. Thank you, to my training partners, and thank you for my friends and family for helping me get ready. So, yeah, let's do this. And thank you for the interview.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate you coming on the show and giving time as always. But yeah, I'm really excited to check out this fight on September the 23rd, Unified MMA 46, looking to be a great card there. I'll be checking it out on UFC Fight Pass, but for people who are a little closer to the Enoch, Alberta area, definitely encourage you to check out Unified. It's a great live atmosphere and great fights to be had. But yeah, to reiterate, appreciate you coming on the show, Jett. Always fun getting to talk to you, and hopefully the rest of your preparations go smoothly, and looking forward to peeping the fight in a little bit.
Perfect. All right, sounds good.